What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today is just another video of working on the Mark II Supra. I wasn't actually going to film anything about this because I figured it's going to be boring, but I said to myself, I need to make these videos so I can have these things to look back on when it's done. So today's project is essentially just tackling this wheel well, or tackling the spare tire well in the trunk. I'll just show you. So I started a little bit. This is kind of what I'm dealing with. There's like this crap here, which was like, looked like this. And then this right here looked exactly like that too. And there's all this like sticky goo stuff. I imagine it's from those patches. I guess this was like a thing. They're like rubber patches that just got adhered down over rust spots. Because you know, that's obviously gonna fix the problem. But anyway, so I'm essentially gonna try to clean this whole thing up, seal it with Pour 15 so then it's chemically sealed, lay fiberglass down over all the holes to seal it back up, because I'm not gonna be putting a spare tire back in here, so it's never gonna see any weight. And then the underside will get rubberized undercoating, and then that way it'll be sealed there. So really all this video is gonna be is just me wire wheeling this away. So I'll do some cinematics, like cuts with the tripod, and then that way, you know, you can get an idea what's going on. But you know, just from start to finish, I wanna document this project. Alright, so we have taken the wire wheel to this thing for a little while now. Let me grab this light, and so it's easier to see. It has a lot of this over here, and then the underside, this is the bad side right here. It's a lot of rust, but I'm slowly getting all this gunk up that's real sticky, and it's holding moisture, which makes the rust even worse. I don't know why people do that, but here we are dealing with it. A few spots I think I might actually just cut out. So like right here, I might just cut this out because it's, I mean, it's obviously going through all the layers here, and it's really, really flexible. So a few spots I might just cut out, and then that way I can lay a big piece of fiberglass and seal it with Pour 15. You know, like this here, crap like this might just need cut out. And up here isn't that bad. A lot of little spots like that, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be a project to get this done, and we're just gonna have to keep grinding and go underneath of the car. All right, so we have taken quite a bit of material out from the trunk on the top, but we're gonna be going underneath the car now because there's rust on that side. Underneath here, this car needs, I mean, as you would expect from a 1985, it's gonna need some work, but yeah, that looks not inviting, and part of it is covered by the exhaust heat shield, so I need to remove the exhaust from there and then take that shield off and then access everything and then start hitting this stuff. So that should be a lot of fun. This was the heat shield. I got the back bolt out somehow, but this one, the bracket kind of just twisted and broke. So I got it off, but it's never going back on because it's kind of freaking toast. So that's not really worth it. So I understand why it's there. It's to keep the heat away from the tire, but if I'm never running a tire, not gonna be something worth fixing. finished down wiping off the trunk with brake clean after taking the angle grinder and the wire wheel back around the whole thing one more time and then cleaning it, obviously. Now I'm gonna let that brake clean completely dry because you don't want to capture any moisture in this sealing process. It's not 100% perfect to the point where I don't actually think it could be 100% perfect. The trunk, one of those things where if I wanted it 100% perfect with no rust, I would just cut it out and replace it. And I think if I left the clip in there from earlier, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna fiberglass it and seal it. This car is not gonna be seeing a winter. It might see some rain, and yes, rust is still going to form and do its thing regardless, but it's not gonna see the harsh conditions that it did before, and it's gonna have a chemical agent slowing down the rust process thanks to the Pour 15. So I'm gonna go ahead and slap that on with a paintbrush because that makes it a lot easier than trying to put it on with your fingers. And then once that's probably gonna need to dry overnight into the next day. And then once that's on, we're gonna have to fiberglass. And then once we fiberglass, we're gonna undercoat the underside, obviously, and go from there. Alright, so we just finished applying the Pour 15 to the top and the bottom of the Supra trunk. So the Pour 15 instructions say that it is about 3 to 6 hours of drying time, and it is currently about 7 o'clock at night. So unfortunately it's not going to be finished right now. The video will just continue to the next day I work on it. But for me, I do need to let it dry. We do have our fiberglass stuff all prepped and ready to go. So that will be the next step. And then once we put the fiberglass on and seal up all those holes, we're going to be applying the rubberized undercoating to the bottom. I haven't decided if I want to do the inside. I probably will because it'll just look a lot nicer, all one color and not fiberglass. It's not like anyone's ever gonna see it, but I am feeling pretty good about how this is coming out. The car needs a lot of this kind of stuff. Let's just pick it up with the fiberglass. All right, so we are gonna be laying fiberglass, and this is what the Pour 15 looks like dry. It actually still looks kind of wet, but I assure you it is not. It is 100% dry. And now the next step is to hit this with 80 grit sandpaper because this is a very, very, very smooth product now. So we're gonna need to rough it up. So the fiberglass has something to grab onto. So Bondo recommends 80 grit. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And then once that's all sanded a little bit, we're gonna mix up the fiberglass resin and the hardener and put some fiberglass down. All right, so this has been sanded and I've laid duct tape underneath because I don't want the fiberglass in some of these bigger holes like this to droop and cause like pockets or anything. So I laid the duct tape down so that it has a flat surface to lay on and it'll harden flat. Once it's completely hardened, I'll rip away the duct tape from underneath since the bottom is not getting fiberglass, and then it'll be good to go if I need to add another layer because the layer underneath will be hard, etc. So the only hole that I'm gonna be leaving from getting fiberglass is this one here because I have the OEM grommet for it. So this didn't have anything bad around it, so I just figured I'd just leave it the way it is, so I at least have one hole. This one is a little far gone to try to like repair or anything, not like it's important regardless, because we're not gonna be putting a spare tire in here anyway. So gonna go ahead, mix up the fiberglass, and then lay it over these holes. All right, so the fiberglass is laid down. I couldn't film it because it was a very quick process because the hardener hardens very quickly, so I didn't even get a chance to put the camera on a tripod, but it's hardening. It's just chilling right now. But yeah, when this stuff hardens, then we're gonna move on to the underside, pull the tape and spray the rubberized undercoating, and then it will be done and done. All right, so the fiberglass is totally hardened and the duct tape on the bottom just needs to be removed, and then once that's removed, we're gonna be able to spray the rubberized undercoating. Here's what the fiberglass is looking like. Pretty hard, and like I said, its sole purpose is to seal, not to take any weight. because I'm not going to be putting this crusty stock wheel back in there, because this car won't be running. This stock wheel will have no use to go back in there, because this car's not really going to be back on the ground and be taken anywhere on these stock wheels. These are only going to really be used for testing right now, because there's so much more work to be done to the car, and I think I have an idea for these at some point, no time soon, but something really cool for the stock wheels. There's those three, and there's the one right there. So we're gonna go ahead. I think the undercoating is over here in this paint thing. There she is, Rust-Oleum rubberized undercoating. All right, so we got our eyes and our mask on, just because you don't want to be breathing this stuff in if you can help it. The garage door is also open as well, because it's not super cold out. So we're gonna go ahead, finally spray this on and be done. Well, we're done. The Supra has a clean spare wheel well, and we won't have to worry about that anymore. So there's not really much else to say about it. But if you enjoy rust repair on a 35-year-old Toyota Supra, go ahead and consider subscribing. It really does mean the world. If you do like this video, go ahead and drop a like down below. And as always, have an awesome day.